If you've been keeping up with my journey into the world of meal delivery services, you'd know that I'm doing my best to try and figure out who the winners and losers are. And for the past 2 months or so, I've been experimenting with Factor 75. And so far, I've had an excellent experience. So I gave it those 2 months of using Factor before making this review, so that I'd have enough time and experience to see if it really lived up to all the hype. And so in this video, I'm going to try and give you a full picture of Factor 75, their flavors, ingredient quality, compatibility with special diets, pricing model, and some things that make Factor stand out compared to other services in the space. And to be completely transparent, I'll also explore some of the downsides I've faced with Factor. And at the very end of the video, I'll let you know whether or not I recommend them. So to kick things off, for those of you who might not be totally familiar, Factor 75, or just Factor as they go by now, is a meal delivery service that delivers completely pre-cooked, ready-to-eat meals. And with a strong emphasis on health and well-being, they work with dietitians and chefs to deliver meal options that taste good and are nutritionally balanced. And some things that set Factor apart is their commitment to using organic ingredients wherever possible. So you won't have to worry about GMOs, hormones, or preservatives. And just to put it out there, when I signed on, I managed to find a special link for Factor 75, which automatically applied a discount that I wouldn't have been able to get had I gone straight to their website. So if at any point you decide that you want to try them out, I'll leave the link for you down in the description. Now, in terms of quality ingredients, this is where they really shine. While some meal delivery services call themselves healthy, they often cut corners when it comes to being organic. But Factor 75 understands how much healthier it is when people eat organic. So they make sure that they don't put any GMOs, hormones, preservatives, or refined sugars into any of their food. Now, I hope that I'm not painting the picture that everything about Factor 75 is perfect. Like any other product or service, they have downsides. For instance, I wish they'd offer wild-caught salmon as opposed to the farm salmon they use for their recipes. To me, it's a smaller issue, but I think that it's worth mentioning on account of their organic approach. But on the flip side, their chickens are all raised humanely and their meats are sourced from grass-fed, pasture-raised animals, which is something you rarely see in pre-cooked meals. Alright, so after you've signed up and received your first Factor box, what's next? Well, all the meals come in ready to heat and eat plastic containers with a plastic film sealing them. So all you have to do to prepare your meal is pierce through the protective film covering it and throw it in the microwave on high for about 2 or 3 minutes. Or if you have a bit of extra time, you can take off the film top and bake it in the oven for around 5 to 10 minutes or so once the oven's hot. But just keep in mind that some meals come with sauce containers, which should of course be taken out before heating both in the microwave and in the oven. And if you have the time, I always recommend using an oven rather than a microwave wherever possible. I think that an oven does a much better job evenly distributing heat and maintaining flavor than a microwave does, but this isn't just true for Factor's meals. I prefer using an oven across the board. Okay, so in terms of flavors, you'd think that meals delivered to your door might be bland, but I was actually really surprised that from the first bite, it's clear that Factor puts a ton of effort into their meals. In fact, it easily tasted better than any pre-cooked meal that I've ever had before. And I think that it's the combination of all the high quality ingredients and all the spices. In fact, the average meal has between 20 and 30 ingredients and spices. And when was the last time you had any pre-cooked meal, or even most meals that you get in a restaurant that had that many ingredients and spices in them? They also have a lot of different options when it comes to cuisines. And there are even meal plans that are vegetarian and keto friendly. The range of flavors, cuisines, and options is actually pretty impressive. For instance, the chicken parmesan was crunchy, although I will say that I was in a bit of a rush when I ate it, so I did throw it in the microwave, and I know that the breading would have been crispier had I heated it up in the oven. Now, I'm a cheese lover. I like really good cheese, so I was pretty skeptical that Factor's cheese would live up to my high standards. But the cheese was surprisingly really flavorful, and it melted nicely on top of the chicken. I could tell that the cheese was really high quality and not the cheap, tasteless stuff that melts like plastic. Of course, it wasn't the greatest cheese I ever had in my life, or even in the top 5, but the quality definitely caught me off guard. And the tomato sauce wasn't bland and also wasn't too ketchupy or sweet. It struck a sort of harmonious balance that really worked for me. And the spicy poblano beef bowl was definitely spicy. It had a lot of ground beef, and on the side it had broccoli, rice, and sour cream. And I was worried that the sour cream would be watery and sort of tasteless, but it was actually really rich, creamy, and full of flavor. It definitely took the dish to a new level. Now, the poblano bowl wasn't one of my absolute favorites, but it was definitely a winner, and I'll probably order it again. I think that if I put it in a tortilla with some guacamole, it would have been next level. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about diet compatibility. They offer options ranging from keto to paleo and even vegetarian. It seems like they're trying to cater to everyone. So if you're following a specific diet, like the Mediterranean diet or a high protein diet, you can generally be accommodated pretty easily. And in terms of ingredients, their nutrition labeling, both on the package and online under each meal, includes all the important things like calories and macronutrient ratios. And the ingredients are all listed out right on every package, so it really is detailed and easy to understand. Now, in terms of pricing, Factor offers several pricing models that depend on how many meals you want to receive per week. If you go with a minimum of 6 meals per week, you'll be looking at a cost of around $13.50 per meal. And if you want more meals, or if you want to save some money, the meals get as low as $11 per meal if you order at least 18 per week, because as with most services or products, the more you order, the lower the per meal cost. Now, one thing I want to mention is that Factor does fall on the pricier side of the pre-cooked meal delivery spectrum, but I do think it's a fantastic value, and here's why. If I went out to the cafe that my wife and I like to eat at, it's not only going to end up costing me a lot more than Factor would, but it's also going to take up a lot more of my time. And I think the reason why Factor helps so many people stick to their diets is because of the convenience of having meals when you're busy at work. Times when it'd be really easy to just forget about your diet altogether. So the convenience of having a bunch of healthy and tasty ready-made Factor meals in my freezer really helped to save a lot of time and keep me on a healthier diet. But if you want to save a bit more money, as I mentioned earlier, if you do decide to give Factor a try, I left the discounted link that I used when I signed up in the description below. With it, you'll automatically get a discount that you wouldn't be able to get by going straight to their website. So feel free to take advantage of that as well. Now, onto the customer service experience. They offer live chat, email, and phone support, and in my experience, they were really friendly and helpful. For example, one of my meals came open, and some of the ingredients and sauce spilled onto some of the other meals that were in the box. It made the outside of the other meals really sticky, and of course, I had to throw what was left of that one out. So I reached out to customer service, and they not only issued me a full refund, but they also gave me a discount on my next order, which I was really happy with. And when it comes to delivery, the meals always arrived when they said they would. And aside from that one time when one of the meals came open and I had to deal with customer service, it's been perfect for me. The meals come in insulated boxes with a bunch of ice packs, which have always been cold enough to keep the meals frozen whenever I unpack the boxes. And in terms of both sourcing their ingredients and their packaging, they really do put a strong emphasis on sustainability. For example, the meals come in recyclable packaging, and they try to work with farmers who specifically use sustainable farming practices. They also strive to source locally whenever possible, which reduces their overall carbon footprint. Now, their website is user-friendly and easy to navigate. From choosing meals to setting dietary preferences and payment options, the whole process is really straightforward. They even offer an app, which I think is extremely convenient for making changes to orders or looking for new meals. So to sum it up, Factor offers an experience that's kind of hard to beat. They make really tasty food, it's organic, they use grass-fed and pasture-raised meat, and the fact that you can get such high-quality food with the convenience of a pre-cooked meal that you get from the store is pretty incredible. And the fact that this food tastes almost as good and at times as good as my favorite organic cafe in town is pretty remarkable. Not to mention the convenience of it. And although it may be on the higher end of the meal delivery spectrum, the quality of the meals and the convenience they offer make it, in my opinion, well worth the cost. So if you ask me, I would personally recommend Factor. Whether you're busy, you prefer organic, high-quality ingredients, or you're just looking to make life a little bit simpler, Factor 75 has something for just about everyone. All right, so there you have it, a comprehensive review of the Factor 75 meal delivery service. I hope this review answered all your questions and helped you make a decision about whether they're right for you or not. And that's gonna be it for today. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more. And like I mentioned before, if you want to try Factor out, check out the link in the description to get that discount that I mentioned that you wouldn't be able to get if you went straight to their website. Also, feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to try and answer them as quickly as possible. And finally, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.